What's up guys, DuArktik here with another Marvel Strike Force video, and in this video we are going to talk about Quicksilver and we're going to answer a few questions. Who are we supposed to use this character against? Who are we supposed to use this character with? What is exactly Quicksilver supposed to do in the current meta where we are struggling? Still with Gamma in Alliance Wars, we are still struggling with Room 5, with Tangled Web, with Eternals. Is Quicksilver going to impact any of those situations? And was this character completely overhyped by Scopely and is going to fail on deliver when he first shows up? Probably yes, most likely yes. So we're going to talk about all of that in this video, and as always, if you like the information on it, make sure you share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and make sure you smash that like button. Okay, let's get started, but before we start, huge shout out to the anonymous donator that for the second time has made a huge contribution to the channel. It is extremely helpful when people do things like these, and I really have to say thanks and a huge shout out for you, because it really helps the channel. And I apologize for not noticing this during the live stream, but the donation was made in a non-typical way, so I was not able to see it during the live stream. So once again, big shout out to you, anonymous donator, and thanks for helping keeping the channel going. Other thing that I want to mention before we start talking about Quicksilver is that I want to apologize not making as many videos as possible in the past, or as often as possible, but I have been struggling with some problems in real life, some other priorities and some technical difficulties with the equipment, because I'm on a different location. So unfortunately I've not been able to make as many videos as possible, and hopefully within the next week or so we can go back on schedule. Okay, so with that out of the way, once again, big shout out to the anonymous donator. Let's get started. Let's talk about Quicksilver and see if this guy is going to be a great character or if he was completely overhyped by Scopely. Okay, so let's get started. Let's talk about Quicksilver, and we are going to address different topics. We are going to talk about how to obtain Quicksilver. We are going to talk about his stats and problems that you're going to have with his stats. We're going to talk about what he can do and what exactly was he designed to do. We are going to talk about problems with his kit. We are going to talk about the best game modes, where to use him, and we are also going to talk about which teams should you pair up together with Quicksilver in order to have a great experience. Keep in mind that I think you're going to have a very inconsistent experience based on this kit, but we are going to address that on the problems with this kit, because yes, there are huge problems with Quicksilver's kit. Okay, so with all that said, let's get started, and the mention is tags, Hero Global Mystic Brawler. So that's going to give him some benefits and also going to give him some problems. Hero Brawler is going to pair up nicely with Miss Marvel and the Young Avengers. Hero Mystic is going to allow him to have some synergies with Cloak and Dagger as new warriors, and Hero Mystics have some benefits together with Cloak and Dagger. And then the fact that he's Mystic is going to create problems when you are facing Darkhold and Morgan Le Fay. So you need to have that in mind. Okay, so let's talk about how to obtain Quicksilver. We are going to obtain him, of course, next week through offers where you have to spend money, and after you spend money you are going to have his event where you're going to be able to obtain some yellow stars and maybe even some red stars for him. Now this is going to be a very limited type of event, the same way that we had with the Zombie Iron Man, so don't expect a lot of yellow stars for him and don't expect a lot of red stars for him. The yellow stars after the first event, you're going to be able to obtain those yellow stars through Cosmic Crucible. Now in terms of Cosmic Crucible, we don't know if it's going to be the season rewards or if it's going to be the weekly rewards. It might be the weekly rewards, but it might also be the season rewards. The season rewards is going to benefit more the whales, because they're going to have more yellow stars and red stars up front. If it's going to be the weekly rewards, that is going to be more consistent experience for across the community. In terms of red stars, the same way with Zombie Iron Man, you are going to get red stars for him with dark promotion credits, which is a big deal because most people cannot afford the red stars on this character, the same way that they were not able to gain red stars for Zombie Iron Man. The difference is that Quicksilver, he needs the red stars, while Zombie Iron Man does not need the red stars, and this is great for Scopely. I think it was a big mistake from them, because with Zombie Iron Man you can use the enemy red stars against each other, against himself, while with Quicksilver you cannot do that. You need to have yellow stars and red stars for Quicksilver to be good, while with Zombie Iron Man it doesn't matter because once again he uses the enemy stats against themselves. Okay, beyond that, beyond Cosmic Crucible, Quicksilver is not going to be available on Premium Orbs, Mega Orbs, Ultimus Orbs, Basic Orbs. It's not going to be available to obtain with the Power Cores on the first offers, and is also not going to be able to be obtained with the Power Cores through the Gold Store. So don't expect him to see anywhere near that. It's going to be all about the first event, the offers with money, of course, and then with winning in Cosmic Crucible. So if you want Quicksilver to be more powerful, make sure you do better in Cosmic Crucible, and check out our live streams and the Discord for Cosmic Crucible advices. Okay, so that's how you obtain Quicksilver. Now we have to talk about his stats. So based on the way you can obtain him, the amount of yellow stars and red stars that you are going to get for him is going to be very low. Let's do some wishful thinking, and let's imagine that we are going to be able to get 4 yellow stars for him and 4 red stars. Red stars, once again, is going to cost dark promotion credits, so to get 3 red stars, expect to have around 2,000 dark promotion credits to spend on him. In terms of stats, with 4 yellow stars and 3 red stars, let's calculate the stats. You are looking at a character with 700,000 health, which is not amazing. We have also 30,000 damage, very low, armor 13,000, very low as well. The focus is 10,000, but that's not a big deal because he's going to get more focus with his kit. And then we have the resistance, 9,000, very low as well. So with these stats, and once again this is wishful thinking for free-to-play players, with 4 stars and red stars, it doesn't look very impressive. So until you get this guy at high yellow stars, and that might take 6 months to a year, if not longer, is not going to be very, very impressive. Once again, I have to mention this because his focus is not going to matter, because the way his kit works, when he has charges, he's going to get 100% more focus based on how many charges he has, and that's going to influence what he's going to be able to do. Okay, so now that we know what to expect in terms of stats and how he's going to be able to perform, let's talk about his kit and see what he's going to be able to do. From my interpretation of his kit, the best thing he's going to be able to do is to counter Gamma. Is going to be able to counter Gamma on his own? No. He's not going to be able to counter Gamma on his own, but if you pair him up with Tangled Web, maybe with some other characters, you might be able to counter Gamma with Quicksilver. The reason why is because of his special. So his special applies defense down and slow, clears all charges and reduces the speed bar of the primary target. The primary target should be, of course, Red Hulk. You want to clear all the charges from Red Hulk so he doesn't do his ultimate, or even if he does the ultimate and for some reason he's blinded or anything like that, you can still stop him from having the extra speed, the counter attack chance, and also the block chance, which makes him very, very hard to defeat. But overall, with removed charges, with the defense down, the slow, and reduce the speed bar, these are all things that counter Red Hulk. But to counter Red Hulk, you need to reach Red Hulk. And can we reach Red Hulk? That's a big question because we don't know. We have OG Hulk that is going to be taunting and we need the basic attack from Quicksilver to remove the taunt of OG Hulk. So with the basic attack of Quicksilver, clear positive effects, repeat this attack, so you're gonna have additional chances of clearing positive effects. And then if there are no positive effects on the enemy, you're gonna be able to apply Disrupt, stopping the OG Hulk from having the more taunts and more counters and so on. Other thing that tells me that the basic attack was made to counter OG Hulk is the fact that this attack cannot be countered. So even if OG Hulk has a bunch of counters and so on, he cannot attack Quicksilver back. So with this special and with this basic, it clearly says counter OG Hulk. You could possibly also use him to counter Dormammu. Not an easy feat because Dormammu gets more resistance based on how many enemies are Mystic, but with the fact that Quicksilver has so much focus, maybe he's going to be able to counter Dormammu on his second turn. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem. So once again, we have the clear positive effects, which we need on Dormammu. We have the Disrupt that also counters Dormammu. It stops him from going on stealth. And then we have the clear the charges, so even if Dormammu did the special, is not going to be able to flip all the positive effects on your team. So those are two great uses for Quicksilver, countering Red Hulk and Gamma, and countering those pesky teams that we have on defense with Dormammu, his charges, and the flipping the positive effects. Okay, those are the two main uses for this guy. Now let's take a look at problems with the kit of Quicksilver. We have his ultimate that applies random negative effects to the enemies, and none of these negative effects are trauma or stun. And that's going to be a big deal because if you are facing Gamma team, they have She-Hulk, right? She-Hulk, many times she has immunity, so depending on which characters you have pairing up with Quicksilver, you might be able to remove the immunity of She-Hulk and apply a stun with trauma to her, or you might not be able to, and you might end up with all these negative effects being applied to your face. So in my opinion, if you are going to use Quicksilver to counter Gamma in Alliance Wars, you are probably going to use Quicksilver together with Tangled Web, so you can remove the immunity with Spider-Man 2099, and then you can apply the stun with trauma with Spider-Weaver, and if you use Scarlet Witch, you can also extend that stun with trauma on She-Hulk, which is going to be super convenient. After that, these negative effects that is being applied to the enemies is not going to be a big deal. Now, when it comes to the situation with Dormammu, it's not going to be exactly the same scenario because you don't have the negative effects being applied to Dormammu are like inconsistent. Heal block, offense down, that does not really matter against Dormammu. We have the slow, which is nice, but it's random negative effects applying to the enemies, which is great. It's great to apply slow to Dormammu, but it's so inconsistent that is concerning. So we have this guaranteed slow from Dormammu. I guess this is the one that you want to use and not rely on the ultimate. The ultimate is an absolute fuck fest. It clears the positive effects. This part is nice, the evades and counters, this is all nice, but the part of the random negative effects is just a huge mess. Okay, so other problem with the Quicksilver is going to be his passive. On ally turn is going to get random positive effects, counter defense up, evades, offense up. Now the problem with this ability is how inconsistent it is. It might happen that whenever your allies have a turn, you can get defense up for 2 turns, and then when the second ally has a turn, you're gonna get defense up once again for 2 turns. So this is gonna be a huge mess in terms of consistency. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, in one day you might have this amazing experience with Quicksilver, and then on the next day you might get the same negative effects all the time, you might get the same positive effects all the time, and then he's not able to provide what you need him in order to be successful on the different game modes. So speaking of game modes, where you are supposed to use this guy? Once again, talking about the Gamma and talking about Dormammu, you're going to be able to use Quicksilver consistently, depending on which team you are using in Alliance Wars. In terms of Cosmic Crucible, right now, there is no Dormammu on defense. This might be something that we see in the future. It's not something right now, and the Gamma on defense is not a big deal as well. We have other consistent counters against Gamma. There is that Gamma with Apocalypse, where maybe Quicksilver is going to be somewhat useful, but Quicksilver against Apocalypse is not exactly something that you want to do unless you are not going to use his ultimate. Once again, the fact that you're attacking all enemies, that means that Apocalypse is going to get the speed up and offense up, which you don't want to be the case. So that's in terms of Alliance Wars. Cosmic Crucible, I don't see him being a big deal. And in terms of Arena, is Quicksilver going to change anything in Arena right now? I don't think it will be the case. With the changes that we had to Kang and to Apocalypse, those characters are so powerful together with Horseman characters that I doubt you are going to replace any of the Horseman characters with Quicksilver, because all of the Horseman characters are way faster than Quicksilver. Rogue, Red Hulk, Kang, Archangel, all of those characters are way faster than Quicksilver, so I don't see Quicksilver being useful in Arena compared to the Horseman characters or compared to Kang. Now, let's talk about which teams you could pair up with Quicksilver. If you take a look at the Mystic characters, we have some suggestions right away. So first off, we have the New Warriors. The New Warriors, they can provide the buffs to Quicksilver like resistance and like extra focus. From Cloak and Dagger, they give buffs to Hero Mystic allies. On top of that, we also have the Tangled Web. I think Tangled Web for Alliance Wars is going to be your best option, because you have the stun with Trauma on She-Hulk. And for this, as I mentioned before, you want to use Scarlet Witch as the 5th character to extend that stun with the Trauma. Beyond that, we have some team that might come into light, which is the Shadowland team. So we have right here Moon Knight, and we have also White Tiger. They are also Mystic hero characters, and they are also very powerful in Alliance Wars. So it could happen that you replace Daredevil and what's her name, Elektra, with Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, or you could replace Elektra and Night Nurse with Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. I think these are going to be some interesting options, and it could bring the Shadowland team back into the meta, not only in Alliance Wars but also in Cosmic Crucible, because they are not only fast in Alliance Wars, but they are also extremely fast in other game modes as well. So those are some of the possible combinations that we have with Quicksilver and also Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch can extend the Trauma with stun with the Tangle Web, and she can also extend all those negative effects that White Tiger and Moon Knight can apply to the enemies early on in the matches. Okay, so those are the combinations that I see possible with Quicksilver, and that's all that I want to mention for this video. So Quicksilver seems to be an interesting character. It definitely has some flaws with his kit, the fact that he's going to have very low stats, the fact that he doesn't have a lot of viable options where he was made to like hard counter. I really don't think that Quicksilver was made to hard counter Red Skull, even that he would definitely do that. I think he's going to be used to counter Dormammu. I think he's going to be used to counter Red Hulk, but it's all about which characters you pair up with Quicksilver. Are you going to pair him up with Shadowland? Are you going to pair him up with the New Warriors? Are you going to pair him up with Tangled Web? Yes, depending on the game mode, and it depends also on which characters you have maxed out, because let's be honest, the New Warriors, they were not meta for a long time. The Tangled Web, they were recently meta, but a lot of people still don't have the Spider-Man Noir and Spider-Man 2099 maxed out. And then in terms of Shadowland, it was always a great team, but unfortunately it was not great enough in other game modes that pushed everyone to max them out. Maybe Quicksilver is gonna change that, but we're gonna wait and see. Let me know in the comments below what you think about Quicksilver. Are you excited about him? Do you think that Scopely overhyped this character? Which teams do you expect him to use him? Do you have any idea on how to use this character beyond the teams I just mentioned? Do you have any other ideas on how you can use this character in order to counter other teams in Cosmic Crucible and Alliance Wars, let me know all of that in the comments below. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you smash that like button, and if you found the video helpful, make sure you share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and I'll catch you guys later.